Okay, so in this video we're going to be talking about how to form and solve linear equations. Now with this topic there are so many different types of questions that they could ask you, but I've picked four just to sort of help you out a little bit, and it might actually jig your memory and be able to do the harder questions. So with this topic you're going to have to know how to find perimeters, areas of shapes, and also know like basic knowledge on angles in shapes as well. So we're going to be doing angles in triangles in two of the questions, but sometimes they also do quadrilaterals as well. So we're going to start with this. So this question, it does have a diagram. These angles are angles in a scaling triangle. So scaling just means that they're none of the sides and none of the angles are the same. We need to find the value of x. Okay, so first thing you need to know is what all of these three angles add up to. Okay, and you should know that angles in a triangle add up to 180. So sum of angles is 180 degrees. Okay, and what that means is if we add up these three expressions, we can then make them equal to 180 and then be able to solve it. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to add them all together. And then make it equal to 180. Now before you try and start solving that, the first thing you need to do after this is simplify it. Okay, if you don't, that looks really complicated, but actually after I've simplified it, it will look really nice and easy. So I'm going to start with the x's. So we've got 1, 2, 3 x's. And we've got 10 plus 30, that's 40, plus 20, that's 60. Okay, and then we just solve them how like we've done it before. So we don't want this plus 60, so that means we're going to have to subtract it from both sides. Okay, because we're going to end up just being left with x. So 3x will still be there. 60 take away 60 means there's nothing, and then 120 take away 60 is 120. Okay, and then we need to divide by 3 because we just want 1x. Okay, so x will be equal to 40. Okay, and that's all you need to do. But again, it's just knowing the basic information that you need to be able to answer it. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, so EG2. Okay, next one. So we've got a rectangle. We're told that the area is 24 centimetres squared. We now need to work out the value of A. So the area to find on this rectangle, all you do is multiply the two sides together. So the area of this would be 3 times by A plus 2. Now the reason why I put brackets around it is because the 3 has to multiply with both of those, not just the A. Okay, and we know that that's equal to 24. Okay, now when I did the video on linear equations, the first thing we need to do if we have brackets is that we need to expand them. Okay, so we're going to do 3 times A and then 3 times positive 2. So 3 times A is just 3A, 3 times 2 is positive 6, and that's equal to 24. Again, our aim is just to get A, so we're going to have to deal with this positive 6 first. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides, which gives me 3A is equal to 18. And then we divide by 3, which gives me that A is equal to 6. Okay, now you can always check it, so if you put 6 into here, 6 plus 2 gives you 8, 8 times 3 is 24, so it does work. Okay, I'm going to flip over, so now we're going to go on to the third one. Okay, we're gradually getting harder. Let's do this one. So EG3. Okay, so this is a sort of question that you could get in a test. Again, it's just knowing basic knowledge that you should have already learned already, but it's just also then applying it, which I know is quite difficult. So we are told it's an isosceles triangle. Also, we do have these lines here telling us it's an isosceles. Now, the thing that's special about isosceles is that their two sides and the two angles are the same. So because these two sides are the same, these two angles must also be the same. Okay, because we need to work out what x is first to actually be able to work out what y is. Think of it like a puzzle, you've got to do it step by step. So if these are the same, the way I'd write it would be like an equation. So you'd have the 3x minus 2 on the left, and that's equal to x plus 38. Okay, so same is just the same as an equal sign. And then we would solve it to work out what x is. So with these ones, you look at the x's and you think which one is the smallest. So you've got 1x and you've got 3x. So the 1x must be smaller. So we subtract that from both sides. Okay, so 3x subtract 1x would give you 2x. We've still got the negative 2 there. 1x take away 1x is nothing, but we do still have that 38. Okay, then we're going to add on 2 to both sides because we just want to be left with 1x. Okay, so if we add that, we're going to end up with this 2x still there, and then that will give us 40. Okay, we still don't just have 1x, we then need to divide both sides by 2. Okay, because we just want one of them. So that gives us that x is 40 divided by 2, which is 20. Okay, so that's going to help us out in a moment. Now, because we know that x is 20, we can now work out what one of these are, okay, using substitution. So, now you can sub them into both. I'm just going to pick one of them and then I'm going to double the answer because, as we've already said, these two must be the same number. So if we've got x plus 38, we know that x is 20, so 20 plus 38, which is 58. Okay, so this is 58 and this is 58. Okay, and again we go back to our knowledge about triangles. As we've said before, these three angles add up to 180, so y must be the same as 180, subtract these two angles at the bottom. So subtract 58 and subtract another 58. So that is 116, so it's going to be 64 degrees. Okay, there is one more that I want to do. Okay, so for this one we need to find the perimeter. Now it doesn't mean in terms of E, otherwise it would say find the perimeter in terms of E. Okay, what it's actually wanting us is to work out what E is, then we can then try and work out what the perimeter is from that. Now, a lot of people don't notice, not the obvious thing, but the thing you need to start off with, and that's the biggest problem. Now, this is a rectangle. So what's special about a rectangle is the opposite sides are the same. Okay, so it means that 4e minus 3 is the same as 21, and whatever this side is would be the same as e. Okay, now if they're the same again, we can write that as an equation. So 4e subtract 3 is equal to 21. Okay, and then from there, we can then work out what e is, which is going to help us later on. So first thing we're going to do, add 3 to both sides. Okay, so we're left with just 4e on the left, and then 21 add 3 is 24. Okay, we just want 1e, we don't want 4, so we're then going to divide by 4. So 1e is equal to 6. Okay, so that means here, this must be 6. Okay, so to find the perimeter is just all the sides added together. Okay, so we know this is 6, this one must also be 6. We know this 21, so this must also be 21. You can sub it in, but you don't need to, obviously, because you know it's the same. So it's going to be 6 plus 6 plus 21 plus 21. Okay, and just make sure that you, when you add it, that you do it really carefully. So that's 42. It's going to be 54 centimetres. Okay.